What name is guy Itauma? Moses Itauma. I think he's a great fighter. The young, 20 years, yeah?
And that's why you got to watch it and find out. But one thing I will say about Moses is he's a very good fighter, good little boxer, good puncher, and a lovely kid as well. It's like a sponge.
Why are you taking this fight? Because this kid is on fire right now. And he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards, he's going forward.
Top fighters are speaking out about just how terrifying Moses Itauma is inside the ring. Tyson Fury, the heavyweight king himself, has publicly praised the 20-year-old phenom for his explosive power, sharp focus, and laser-like discipline. Fury noted that Moses is a fast learner, listens intently, and hits with dangerous intent. The fact that he's even considering someone like Dillian Whyte at this young age shows not only his fearlessness, but his elite-level talent. Many believe Moses isn't just a prospect, he's already a problem for top-tier heavyweights.
That's a good fight, actually, especially for Moses. I think it's a very good time to fight Dillian. He's had a couple of years out of the ring. But, make no mistakes, Dillian Whyte is a massive puncher. It's a head and body. I know he's taking it very serious. I'm speaking to Ty Mitchell, who's in training camp with him. And looking forward to the fight. It's a big step up for Moses because he hasn't really fought anybody on Dillian's level. The old Dillian, it was a couple of years ago. It's going to be interesting to see how much that Dillian Whyte has left. And could this be potential? I think it does have the potential to do what Martin McCauley did to Jared Anderson. Maybe it's too early, or maybe he passes with flying colours. And that's why you got to watch it and find out. But one thing I will say about Moses is he's a very good fighter, good little boxer, good puncher, and a lovely kid as well. It's like a sponge. You tell him something, he absorbs it and he listens. And that's the great thing about the young kids who's coming up. And he's only 20 years old. I told him a few years ago, forget about breaking record. Take your time. You've only got one career. And just enjoy it because I remember when I was 19, 20, and now 36 has gone like that, very quick.
Alexander Usyk, one of the most technically gifted boxers of our era, didn't hold back his admiration for Moses Itauma. In a recent interview, Usyk called Moses a great young fighter, highlighting his maturity and strength. Coming from a man who's outclassed elite world champions, Usyk's words carry serious weight. For Moses to impress someone of Usyk's caliber at just 20 years old speaks volumes. It's not just about brute force. Usyk sees a calm, composed professional in the making.
What name is guy Itauma? Moses Itauma. I think he's a great fighter. The young, 20 years, yeah?
20.
Yeah, 20 years. I think Itauma have big future.
Behind Moses, Itauma's raw talent lies a deep obsession with boxing history. His coach revealed that, like a young Mike Tyson, Moses doesn't just watch fights. He studies the lives, styles, and strategies of legends. He reads about their struggles and how they shaped their legacies. While many young fighters live in the moment, Moses is building a mental library that gives him an edge in the ring. His hunger to grow intellectually and physically separates him from others in his age group. He's not just fighting to win, he's fighting to understand.
I think probably the biggest comparison I would say is how Mike Tyson loved the game, would always study fighters of the past, etc. Moses has that same love for it.
Does he?
Yeah, like we'll send him his sparring at 2 a.m. He'll be texting us clips like, is this more what you want?
He's a student.
Yeah, he absolutely loves it. And that, along with his maturity at his age.
Very composed, isn't he? Very composed. Yeah.
That is what is allowing him to achieve what he's achieving at such a young age.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of talented fighters out there, but not many that
can execute it on the back of it, yeah.
Comparisons between Moses Itauma and a young Mike Tyson are beginning to gain real traction. With his aggressive approach, compact yet lethal punches, and quiet confidence, many insiders believe Moses could become a world champion before he even turns 21. That's nearly unheard of in today's heavyweight scene. His speed, power, and mindset mirror Tyson's early years, when fear didn't exist and dominance was expected. But unlike others who fold under pressure, Moses remains locked in, more focused on performance than the praise.
is Moses Itauma being babied? Jared Anderson had better opposition in his first 12 fights than Moses Itauma. Guaranteed without a doubt. Guaranteed without a doubt. He had better opposition. But Jared gets criticized. And, here we have a guy like Moses being called potentially the next Mike Tyson. They believe he can win a world title under 21 years old.
Moses Itauma's rise wasn't accidental. It was built brick by brick from the age of 18. Coaches and scouts saw something special early on. Clean technique, elite footwork, and the poise of someone far beyond his years. With hundreds of amateur bouts under his belt, Moses entered the pro scene with the polish of a veteran. He didn't need time to adjust. He came in looking like he already belonged. While others take years to find rhythm, Moses hit the ground running, his early groundwork, setting the stage for a rapid ascent.
One so young, to be as athletic as he is, look as polished as he is. Bear in mind, I interviewed Moses Itauma before his pro debut, and one of the questions I really wanted to ask him was how many amateur fights he'd had. For someone who looked so polished, I was turning pro so young. Bear in mind, he'd only just turned 18 at the time. Right, this is 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now. I really wanted to know how many amateur fights he had to look as polished as he did. And in that interview, he told me it was something like 22, 23 amateur fights, which is really, it's quite a low amount. It was a bit of a kind of land when he said it. I remember at the time thinking, huh? And then obviously you're interviewing, so you want to try and get the next question, or you don't want to be just stopped in your tracks. But it genuinely nearly did stop me in my tracks. Given how polished he looked and how good he looked, I was thinking, yikes, that's actually a bit of a strange one for someone to look that polished in such short of a time. He's obviously been fighting good amateurs, and obviously he's not one of these amateurs like Anthony Yard, no offense, who had 10 amateur fight against low level, probably wasn't doing a great deal of sparring, but just had that natural ability. All right, just had it.
Veteran heavyweight Derek Chisora has questioned the wisdom behind Dillian Whyte agreeing to face Moses Itauma. While Dillian has been relatively inactive, Moses has been evolving at warp speed. Chisora emphasized that Moses's age is deceiving. His power, timing, and hunger are far more advanced than his birth certificate suggests. Moses is dangerous, and even seasoned fighters are beginning to acknowledge that. When veterans start showing caution, you know something special is brewing.
I had a phone call a couple of weeks ago. They offered me to fight Moses Itauma in Saudi. I said, how much? He said, $2 million. I said, nah, I'm out. I even phoned Dylan. I was like, Dylan, I don't know why you're taking this fight, because this kid is on fire right now. And he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards, he's going forward.
One of the reasons he is taking it is that Moses is WBO #1 at the moment, so that there's some kind of light at the end of the tunnel for Dillian taking that fight.
Ain't no light at that tunnel.
I agree with you. I don't think Dillian gets beyond 4 or 5 rounds.
Yeah. You're crazy. There's no light at that tunnel. That kid is, no, you mad. No way. Even Lawrence Okoli said, Moses is bad.
As talks of Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte heat up, the boxing world finds itself split. Some see Moses as the best young heavyweight on the planet, while others think Dillian's veteran savvy could be too much too soon. Dillian's faced world, champions, taken punches from the hardest hitters, and knows how to survive a war. But Moses brings youth, speed, and explosive precision. This isn't just a fight, it's a defining moment for both men. For Dillian, it's about silencing the hype. For Moses, it's about proving he belongs with the elite.
Can he still use them? It's a common opinion that Moses is a great prospect. He's got all the talent in the world, but as a professional, he's untested. I think Dylan sees this as a perfect opportunity to shut the hype train on Itauma, beat this young prospect who everyone's shouting about and get the light back on him. But the problem is, if he loses, he's got nowhere to go. It's game over. But this is boxing. High risk, high reward, or scrambling at the bottom of the heap. We know that Moses wanted to beat Mike Tyson's record in becoming the youngest heavyweight champion of the world but he's missed that now. So we know he wants to move fast and test himself. He's reaching for greatness, but as the saying goes, you can't put an old head on young shoulders. So maybe he's biting off more than he can chew. From his point of view, beating a veteran like Dillian Whyte will give him credibility. You know, put him in the mix with the top guys. I'm definitely a fan of Moses. He's got the skill, the talent, the work ethic, and the mindset. The only thing he lacks is experience. And I suppose the only way to get it is to fight these guys. In the fight business, you've got to have thick skin, because there's always going to be doubters. It's part of the game. Personally, I don't see the rush. There's so many good fights, even at domestic level. He's only 20. I just feel he's got time on his side. He needs time to mature. Heavyweights don't mature till late 20s. I just see so much value going the traditional route. English, British, Commonwealth, European, then world honours. In my opinion, it's so important. That's your apprenticeship. Gradually learning the game, gaining experience, and each time you pass the test, you step up. This type of progression builds the foundations. There's a reason why the greats.
Boxing analyst Spencer Oliver believes the world has only seen a fraction of what Moses Itauma can really do. Now that Dillian Whyte is potentially in his path, Moses faces his first true litmus test. Can he handle a powerful, experienced fighter? Under the spotlight, Oliver thinks Moses has all the tools. But this is where things get real. This isn't just a risk. It's the kind of leap that could fast-track Moses to global stardom or teach him lessons no trainer can offer. Either way, the stage is set. Fans are backing him, the pressure is rising, and Moses seems more than ready to answer the call.
On that, that's not going to happen now. So, concentrate on his career. Concentrate on what you're doing, forming him, developing him as the best fighter he can be. Not just a puncher, but a complete fighter. Not just a meteor across the sky that's streaking right now, but a planet. Someone with staying power, someone that can have longevity, with substance, with, and that comes with experience. That comes with fighting better guys. It's time to start now. You got everyone's attention. Now you got to start fighting the kind of guys that will make you that planet. That when your day comes, when the moment comes, and it's coming, but when it comes, you'll be ready. So you got to start answering questions now. The most important questions are for the fighter himself. Can he depend on himself? Do I belong? When I get to that next level, can I feel sure that I belong, that I'm ready, that I can sniff that rarefied air and I won't faint from it? That's a big part of developing a fighter, that the fighter knows that they can depend on themselves, that they're ready for the moments that are coming. And that only comes from fighting increasingly better. You do it the right way. You do it properly. You don't do it in a rush. You don't do it where you make mistakes. But you gradually increase the competition with durable guys.